Welcome to this edition of 10 in 10. In this program, we're going to be looking at a really powerful program that comes on your Mac called Preview. So let's get that timer going. Let's see how much we can cover in 10 minutes. All right, so the first thing we want to do is actually turn on Preview. Preview is a program that comes on your Mac automatically. It's got, looks like it has a loop and maybe the picture of the ocean behind it. If you turn that on, then what happens is your Finder comes up. It asks for what kind of file you want to use. And so some of you might be asking, what is Preview to begin with? Well, Preview mainly in the past has been used as a PDF reader. So people that don't see Adobe Acrobat Reader on their Macs don't have to worry, because Preview does 99% of the things that Acrobat Reader will do. So let's go ahead and pull out a PDF file. Here's one. This is a PDF file all about blended learning, and so you can see that you can go through a document. You just scroll through it. You can actually view it in different ways too. You can actually see 2 pages at a time if you want. You can read it that way, although that becomes a little bit more difficult to read. I like to go up to view and say single page, and then that's a little bit easier to read. And then I like to magnify it a little bit too, because I'm old and I have a hard time seeing things. So let's go back to the beginning of that document here. There it is, classifying K-12 blended learning. So you know, it's one thing to read a document, but it's a completely different thing to actually be able to annotate it and highlight things. And so Preview allows you to do that. Preview allows you to annotate your PDF files and also your picture files as well, but we'll get to that in just a second. So this is a typical page. There's nothing special about this, just an introduction page. And so I'm going to pretend like I'm really excited about this first sentence here. So there's some things that we can do to highlight. We can go up to our highlight button up here at the top. We can actually pick a color that we like. We can also do underline and strike through if we want. I like yellow, so let's go ahead and say yellow, and there it is. And so now we've highlighted some of this. We can also annotate as well. There's a lot of really interesting annotation tools. If you go to Tool and Annotate, you'll see that there's a whole bunch of these. You can create a rectangle, an oval, a line, polygon, a star. You can actually do a speech bubble. You can even add text if you want. So you can say, I don't like this too much. I want to say, I can say this is important, you know, and highlight that if I want. I can change, of course, the font and things like that. I can add all different kinds of things. I can change the color, the size of the font, things like that. And so that's some of the things you can do. Again, you can add shapes and colors and all different kinds of things. For instance, I can add a speech bubble, which the kids might like. So I can do, here's a speech bubble about this particular sentence. It's important. I can actually even change the color of the line around it. I can even change the shape of the line, the size of the line. And then, of course, all I got to do to write in there is just import. Yeah. And I can just click and then highlight it. And then I can, of course, move it around, reshape it, just like you can any kind of object in like a word processor file, something like that. Okay, next thing I want to show you is you can take a screenshot of what you're doing. So let's go find a graphic just for grins here. There's a graphic that's in our article. I can actually go up and take a screenshot of that. So let's see, if I go over here and go to File, I can say Take a Screenshot. And it gives me 3 choices: from a selection, from the window, or from the entire screen. I just want to do a selection. So it gives me crosshairs. What do I want? I want just that. It highlights it. And once I do that, wow, now look, I've got my own new document of what I just selected. So now I've got my own document here, and I can save it in different ways. I can actually save this PDF as a JPEG file, so it becomes a picture file. So I just go up to Save, or I can even export it, or I can save it as a PDF file, but I'm going to save it as a JPEG. You can also save it as a TIFF file, all different kinds. It's really interesting. So I give it a name, and I'm going to put it on my desktop here. I give it some kind of quality. And so now what should happen is you now see it over here on my desktop, and I'm wiggling it over here. There it is, that graph file that I just saved. So that's kind of an interesting thing about preview. So now another interesting thing that I can do is that I can look at my document different ways. So I can view thumbnails, which are on the side. I can actually look, here's my whole document. I can scroll through my whole document. Oh, this page looks good. I better go to that page. I can zoom in and out of the page. They've got magnifying glasses right there. I can zoom, 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 zoom if I wish. But another thing I can do is I can actually go to show the magnifier. I can actually go and I can turn on like a magnifying glass. And the magnifying glass gives me a magnified view of this section. So that's kind of neat too. If I'm having a hard time, sometimes you got really fine print on stuff, you can turn on the magnifying glass. It's up there under tools. And then if I want to hide that, I just click hide the magnifier. I can also view things as a contact sheet. So if I want to view something as a contact sheet, what that is, it gives me every single one of the pages that are in my document. So you can see this is a 22-page document. And here's another neat thing. I can like highlight the pages that I like. I'm going to pick those 3, 7, 8, 9. I really like those pages for some reason. And I'm going to copy them. So now when I copy them, then I can go up to New from Clipboard. And now I've got a document that's just made of those 3 pages that I just created. How's that for really interesting? Now I want to add something really, some more interesting things here. So let's go to that last page. I'm going to go back to my view as a contact sheet. And now what I want to do, remember that graphic that we did just a few minutes ago? I want to grab that graphic and put it into my document. Now that graphic is part of my document as well. So you can add JPEG files, PDF files, all different things into a single document. Now my document, I want to view it, not as a contact sheet, but just as a regular document. View as, not as a document, there we go. So now you can see my whole document is, and I've added that one little graphic there, which was actually part of the original document. So you can do some really interesting things there. Let's go back to that really large other document that we were looking at. There we go. There's some other cool tools that you can do with that. You can, of course, you can zoom in, and but if you highlight things, let's pick a sentence here. I believe, and you highlight it, you can actually have it speak to you. You can have it spoken to you. So you can just say, start speaking.
Traditional Instruction, a structured education program that focuses on face-to-face teacher-centered instruction, including teacher-led discussion and teacher knowledge imparted to students. 5.
So you can actually see that in this particular document, you can actually have PDF files read to you. So this is great for our students that are English language learners, or our students that are struggling with reading. They can actually have the document read to them, which is really, really nice. You can change the voice if you want. I particularly like that voice. It's Samantha. I think it's the most lifelike sounding voice on the Macintosh right now. So that's really cool. So let's look at one other thing that you can do with this. I'm going to open up a JPEG file, which is just a file that that I found on the internet. There it is. Oh, the cute little puppy. So you can annotate JPEG files just like you did a PDF file. So I can go up and I can say annotate, and I can say add text or a speech bubble, and I can come over here. I can, of course, change the color if I want. I can make it a little larger, and I can just type in there, I love 10 in 10. I learned so much. Rough. Oh, rough. So there you go. Those are 10, and then of course I can save that and save that as a the original thing that it was, or I can give it a different name. All those different things you can do. And that's just some of the things that you can do in Preview, which is a free program that comes on your Mac. Thanks for joining me today. See you next time on 10 and 10.